hallo zusammen. Vielen Dank, dass ihr alle hier seid.
It's in English.
It's in English. Oh, sorry. Thank you for being.
This was not planned. Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Hello together. We start with a short introduction, and then we go directly into AI coding. We start with me. I'm Lars. It says CEO here, but deep in my heart, I'm a CTO. The last 15 years, I was CTO in the e-commerce space, from startups to unicorns, and now I founded my own company. And so it says CEO, but don't be afraid. This is a tech talk and not a business talk.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. I'm Aykut. I'm also like in tech and almost like more than 20 years in business. And I'm also a developer at heart, and I'm a CTO as well. So I also founded my company, and we are not going to sell you something here, so no worries. Yeah.
Okay. So what we want to do today is, based on the talk title, SaaS is Dead, we want to show how we can build apps directly with Cursor, with AI. And what we wanted to do is to show that apps that have a huge loads of features can be rebuilt in a very, very short time, just with the one feature that you need. And today we talked about Mentimeter. So like a tool that will help you, like where you can answer questions. And we want to ask you some questions here. And we want to show you how we can build this in half an hour, in the next 30 minutes. Like not we, but the AI can build it. And for this, we prepared a little bit, but what we basically did is we got to our favorite AI, which was in my case Claude, and asked for the app. So, what do I want? I want a Mentimeter clone. I want to ask questions. I want a mobile app, like a mobile view, to answer these questions. I want a screenshot on there, and so on and so on and so on. And I gave him screenshots of how Mentimeter looks. So I just copied the UI via screenshot, and out of that we got a prompt from Cursor, from Claude, that says, okay, these are the features, these are the colors, and since we wanted just a single web page app, we decided for Next.js. Also gave this as a hint. How we decide for frameworks, we will tell a little bit later. But now we need to start because we only have half an hour, and the AI needs a little bit of time.
So yeah, we will let AI code for us. So basically, the idea is SaaS is dead. Of course, it's not that. Yeah, we still have big SaaS companies selling you software, but the idea is that you now also in the team are more like confronted with the question: if I'm going to buy a software or build a software, and if you just need a friction of a feature of a SaaS tool, you just can rebuild it in 15 minutes. Yeah, that's our goal here. And of course, we prepared the prompt. We can show it. This is what Lars meant. He created this prompt with the help of the screenshots and Claude Code. And we are now telling Cursor at the right top, this is the Cursor prompt, to plan us the Mentimeter replacement for ourselves. And we said, hey, please read this complete file and create an app for us. And now, here you also see we are in a plan mode. So we have different modes for Cursor, where we tell the AI agent what to do. So right now we are not going to build it, but please first give us a plan. And here actually we have several things to consider. The AI model you select, we have different AI models, especially you hear about ChatGPT's 5 model, which is kind of the most used because all the office workers are using it. But for development, we have different more proper AI models which work better, and this is like the Sonnet model or also the Opus model, and which you can always select here. And what it's going to do is it asks always questions, so we can see in plan mode what the questions are, and it's always like that, 3 questions with the number and also the options to select. So Lars, please tell me what I'm going to write down now.
It's just very, very simple. You just write then down what you want an answer per question. Let's do.
What level of test coverage?
Let's do only a small test coverage here because we don't have that much time. We want it in English.
What language should the UI text to be in? Should I optimize for a specific deployment target?
We just use it locally now and exactly as specified.
Yes.
And let's go.
So now we are getting the plan. And we are right now planning it with the Sonnet 4.5 model, which is kind of a really good model solving also tasks fast. But there's also the Opus model, which is especially good for really complex tasks. If you have a huge code base where you have to change through all the controllers, services, models, and so on, it makes sense to switch to the Opus model and the planning mode. And then if you are going to the execution mode, selecting Sonnet, for example. The reason why is that Opus model is really expensive. Like in the plan mode, you burn through $3-4 for just a few prompts, whereas the Sonnet model is really fast in executing. So you always have to consider which model are you going to select. And also these models have different context windows. A context window, if you don't notice, it's the memory of the whole chat the AI model can hold and understand. And at a certain point, for example, you have 200K context window, which means 200,000 tokens. You have to consider if it's sufficient enough for the plan you have. And if not, you can switch to a different model, which have a higher context window, or you select the maxed mode, which we always have here in the selection. So you see here all the models we have, and you have also a max mode, which is of course more expensive. Yeah, you spend more money on it, but it's more accurate if you have a complex task to solve. And now we have the plan. So let's have a look at the plan. A live voting system implementation plan, project initialization, Prisma SQLite, QR code generation. We have a database schema set up. We have utility libraries. We have the API routes, the voting page, the admin dashboard, the styling and UI, the integration tests, the configuration, and the documentation. Yeah.
And now what is getting more and more important, now we are scrolling through this, but when you start working now with AI development, this plan is what's being built in the end. So this is what you need to read and tweak. We just now think this is okay, but normally you use your time, like you thought about what you want to write, and then you wrote your code. Now take a little bit more time in planning everything, and think about as maybe intermediate junior developer that you have to tell a lot about what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, where it needs to be done. But I think we can now just start the development.
You see also cursor is showing us the commands it is going to run, and we'll go through the plan and try to implement it, and we have to then, of course, we can add it to the allow list, or we can just click it run. And the important thing, as Lars said, is the prompting. So what it actually didn't change that much. We have the stories where we have the feature plan inside, and it's accurate enough, and it's detailed enough. And it's the same if a colleague is going to work on this. You have to consider the AI as a colleague, and this means also be detailed. Yeah? If you are detailed, the results will be good, and you will have all these one-shot features as well. Yeah? This is kind of you just prompt it, and it's going to build the whole project for you, which can take 15 minutes and longer. And you see it's also installing the dependencies and so on. But the crucial part of your work is changing. If you are going to AI-assisted coding, you have to be detailed. You can't just make a small prompt as you maybe are used to in Copilot or something like that. It's more about the plan and execution. And for this, Cursor has also a really great feature, which is so-called rules. We can have a look at them. Rules are, especially for Cursor, prompt additions, which get loaded either automatically through the always apply true, which means you can have always your project structure. So on every prompt, it knows what the project is about, but also, as you see, about the project structure, how it should be. But then you have also specific rules. For example, if Cursor or the LLM model is going to jump on routes, it is fetching this through this regex here, as you see, and says, oh, I need to load another rule, which then explains more about how you want to have the route. And the important thing is here, before you start to work on any project, you have to first do the homework. Like, what is my coding guidelines, like my principles? I want to have this naming convention. My models are always in this folder, and don't create the models by creating a file, but run the command. Like maybe any framework you use, even if it's Symfony or Laravel, you just create controllers or models via the command line rather than just writing the code. So you can set these rules, and this is something you have to do really at the very beginning, thinking about your project, setting it up, and then it will always fetch it in the context which it is working on. So you have in Cursor this ability to make regex. You can say always apply, or you can also say apply intelligently, which means you have this description in the rule, and Cursor sends this description to the LLM and asks this LLM, hey, should we include in your current task this rule or not? So here the crucial part is the description of the rule. And this is then going to be loaded, which is another prompt added to your prompt, giving the LLM more details about it. And this is, without this, you won't have this one-shot prompt to feature. You will have more like, I didn't like it, please do this. I didn't like it, please do this. So you will have more loops. And the work you do in the beginning will save you a lot of first tokens, which means money, but also time, of course. And coming to the context window part again, you see here in Cursor that we already used 22% of the context window of the LLM model, which means, okay, there's still room left for adding more and more context. And if Cursor or the LLM in behind is doing work, as you see here, it's executing commands, it's creating files, it's loading in its memory. So in the chat history of the LLM, it's going to increase the context window. At some point, you will reach the end, which means the LLM or Cursor has to decide what to do with all the history we have. And the history is for us important while developing the features. So it's a question about, do I have to keep the past chat we had, or can I clear it and start from scratch? Of course not. We need the context we are working on. So what happens if you reach the context window? You either switch to the max mode, which gets then more expensive, but it gives you more space. We have models which can hold up to 1 million tokens as a context window, which is insanely much. But if you have a large project and you are loading every file into it, which you should, like you should give always a lot of context, then it's going to summarize. And summarization means you are at the end of the context window, and Cursor is going to tell the LLM, hey, look at this chat history. Please make a summary of this chat. And we start all over again with the information you give me back. So it shrinks all the information of the context to a small portion, so you start really fresh. And Cursor is, of course, doing some more enhancements on that. It adds the files, which we already modified, and so on. So you keep kind of the context. But then, once the summarization happens, you will sometimes see, oh, it forgot about something. We discussed it earlier, but it forgot it. Like, it never saw it because it's a new chat. And this is something you have to consider. Always have a look at this context window here. This is kind of one of the most important tasks you have to do as a AI-assisted developer. Prompting and having a look if the LLM is still able to remember what you have said earlier. And next to the context window we have, in Cursor you have the settings to enable this usage summary. Cursor actually displays the usage summary only if you reach the end of your wallet. But it makes sense to actually always show this because it helps you to get a feeling about how expensive was the feature, building it with AI. It's not for free. Like Cursor, we use it here in an ultra plan. It's already $200 per month. And for me, and also for Lars, we are spending way more. As you see, we have spent already $400, and we are already in the next $200 in. which means always have a look at it. Like, if you are efficient in prompting and AI feature development, it means you give all the context the AI needs, you have a look at the context window, you select the AI model correctly depending on your task, but also the max mode or not. Yeah, these are all the factors which actually reflect on the price you are paying at the end. But you have to keep in mind, and also your company, if you are going to switch to AI assisted coding, which means you are going to spend maybe $1,000 or $2,000 on tokens, yeah, depending on how much you want to develop features with it. Yeah. So it means, of course, there's additional cost, but you are way more efficient now. Yeah, you can solve tasks which maybe took 2 weeks or even a month now in 1 day. Yeah, that's insane. And as you see, yeah, sorry, I always have to click run. As you see, we have a prompt which lets the AI build in. We had made test 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
A whole Mentimeter replacement. Yeah, a portion of it.
Portion of it.
But back then, it took way more time to do this. Like 15 minutes, you would start to understand what Mentimeter is first, right? And now we are already finished. Yeah. So that's the crucial part. Yeah. You have like these small things you have to pay attention on, and other than that, we can always reference files here, which is also great if you already know, hey, I have a view, I want to change the button color. Of course, you can do it your own, it's the easiest task, yeah. But you are going to reference the file in it, like we did in the very beginning with the have a look at the prompt file, to give it already a clue, so it's not going to search for it. And the search is actually a bash command, which is either grep or find, which the LLM is executing to find the context you are talking about. So your job is actually give everything it needs in the beginning. Yeah, you save time and also context. So this is also really important. And what is great actually is you can also reference past chats. So you see we have this chat, it's getting long. So you either continue in this chat where you then get into the part of the summarization, losing context and so on. And also you think, I don't need the whole context, but I just need the idea of the chat. You can start a new chat actually, and then reference on the past chats. Yeah, so hey, listen here, in this chat we changed the button color, remember, but now change also the background color for this file. So it's not going to load the whole old chat, it's just doing a semantic search in it, like a vector search, and it's way more efficient. Yeah. And another great feature you have while developing is maybe you want to integrate an API, yeah, consider Algolia. And the problem in LLMs you have is that they always go to a certain date. Yeah, they are built with the knowledge of maybe 24, last year, and then you have them in place for a year. And you see, oh, there's a new API version which I want to use. You can just paste the whole URL into the prompting, and Cursor is going to fetch the content of the web page, seeing, hey, okay, here's a new version. I will use this documentation for my implementation. So you get rid of this old knowledge base which the LLMs model have due to their nature while being trained. And one of the important things while developing with AI-assisted coding is that you're staying up to date. It's really insane how fast the developments are happening in the AI field. It's really hard to keep up to date with all the topics, image generation, the next LLM for coding, the next LLM for writing, and so on. So each model has their own use cases where they are really good in, but if you start to work like this and try to write your features now with AI, you have to stay up to date. You have to go to X. You have to follow a few blogs. You have to keep your eyes open and staying up to date, because once in a while they release a new model. Like Sonnet happened like this. So right now we are using 4.5. Before we used 4. And it's a huge change already. Like the quality of 4.5 is way higher than the Sonnet 4 was. So it's really important that you stay up to date and try out in a small feature when you say, oh, let me implement something new with a new model. The same goes for other companies, like from OpenAI, ChatGPT 5. It was said that it's really great for coding. Yeah. But what was your experience with that? Yeah, not that good. So, but it depends. Yeah, it depends on your coding style. It depends on how you want to work. Oh, what is it saying? And that's why it's really crucial to stay up to date. Yeah.
Then I also want to talk a little bit about the how you choose the best framework, because what we did in tech in the last years, we added complexity over complexity over complexity. When I was leading bigger teams, we were creating small services. We hosted them on Kubernetes. We let them talk over message queues, and now we see, like, again, the switch back to more simpler systems. Because if I want to do AI-assisted coding alone, I don't need all of this boilerplate around it, all these complexity that goes back and forth. And so, like, if I start at home with a new project, I mostly chose PHP and Laravel because it's easy. I understand it very easily, and it's very well documented. It has a great user base. It has its own MCP server, and so you can start very, very easily with a bigger project completely on your own. Put it in a Docker container, host it somewhere, and it doesn't have all this overhead anymore. And today we choose Next.js because, okay, we want to just show you like a single page application that is built very fast and very fast deployed. No need to load a huge framework behind it. So we got just very, very fast to Next.js. But you can choose every framework that you want in nearly every language that you want, as long as you know that there's a community behind it. There's a well-documented code base behind it. There were a lot of questions about this on Stack Overflow when Stack Overflow was still a thing, and then the LLM will find you answers on how to write the code. And this is also very important because a lot of people talk about the security risks in developing these tools, but if you stay in line with what like a well-documented, well-maintained framework that Laravel builds you, and using maybe I don't know if you know, like Socialite or like very well-known tools to log in, to use authentication, to security, then and you stay up to date with your versions, it's no problem anymore to build also secure applications with AI, because if it follows the standards of the framework, you're only mostly bound to the problems that framework has, and these are mostly fixed. And when you sometimes see people vibe coding from scratch without anything, when you see like huge JSON packages sending to the front end and then filtering there, this is all like if you're using controllers right, models right, that's not a problem anymore. And so what we can see is, and what we both do every day, this is what we do every day, is you can build secure and fast now applications. But what really changes is you don't write code anymore. And what do you do in the time where the AI works? We can tell you how to do it in this time, or what we do is like we plan the next feature. So you always go from, okay, I plan the first feature, let it code. While it's coding, I'm planning the next feature, then let it code, test the first feature, and then go back and always in circle and go forward. And if some of you already have worked a lot with AI-assisted coding, I think you remember that you sometimes run in loops. So you let them build a new feature, and you want something fixed because it doesn't work or it doesn't look like you want. And then you tell, and then then breaks something else breaks. He goes back and forth and back and forth. And for this, we have a very simple approach. Is if you start a new feature, like let them build a new feature, it doesn't look like you want, it doesn't do what you want, revert, change the plan, let it redo it. Never let them try to fix anything that they just built.
Yeah.
Just do it a new time. And Cursor 2.0 now has this like multi-agent feature. You can just let run 3 agents doing the same plan, and then you see what comes out, test all 3, and see what fits you best. Then you don't have to do it sequentially, you can do it parallel and see. But what you have to think about is like 3 times the cost, of course, if you run 3 agents at the same time. But it's super, super helpful, because sometimes it's not coming out what you want. But if it's not coming out what you want, you can find the problem in the plan that you put in nearly 90% of the times, because you haven't described it in a way that could be understood. Because you sometimes have implicit things in there, and this needs to be gone. It needs to be very explicit, and know what needs to be in there.
I think a good point is also to mention Cursor has this checkpoint feature. You are in this loop, which Lars mentioned, like it's not going to fix it right. You just jump to the prompt where you've been, say revert everything you did till this point. It's kind of a git revert, but internally in the chat. And then you are enhancing your prompt and let it try again. Do not this loop, and it will waste a lot of time, and you get angry, and you are kind of blaming the AI for it. It doesn't make sense at all. I guess a good thing you have mentioned is the MCP. Maybe in the context of Laravel, maybe you can explain this a little bit more. What it does.
MCP servers are like kind of a technology that lets AIs talk to each other, and you don't have to put in APIs. And a lot of frameworks already deliver their own MCP servers, like Laravel with MCP Boost, where you can access maybe browser logs and variables, and have a documentation of Laravel, Tailwind, and everything in the back directly in there, so that the LLM can talk to the newest documentation. But if you want this more globally, there's something like Context 7 as an MCP server, which can load all the documentation of most of the frameworks out there in the world, and scripting languages, and choose your MCP servers very wisely. You don't need every MCP server for every task. It's context that is added, more complexity to it. So for me, it's mostly Context 7 or MCP Boost, and if I want to test something, Playwright, maybe for testing the documentation. Playwright is a browser automation testing tool.
Yeah, so I have seen the command. It is already running run dev, and now it's working on the tests.
Hopefully we get it done.
So, but it's running. We will try this out. Yeah, what happened here? But as you see, we already had in the rules how the structure of the project is going to be. This is the always apply rule we had, and it directly followed this. Like it created app, it created components, lib, Prisma, and so on. And also the tests, of course, we had here testing rule. And as you see, it is applying on specific files with the regex, so on test files. And then it, of course, takes this as a consideration. And the basic idea is to start with all this before you start with development. So let's see. Maybe we can let it create the tests, but we can already make a test if it's running or not.
Yeah, let's just run npm.
No, it's running already. That's the point.
That's one.
Yeah.
So we already did. We used a small tool to do port forwarding, and we forwarded our port. So we can now look if the software is.
Yeah.
So it's going to be now a very big failure or something very nice.
But the great thing is maybe you didn't hear about it. It's Pingy. Pingy is like similar to ngrok, so it helps you to make a tunnel to your notebook or whatsoever without installing software all through. Oh, I need to start it off good.
No, perfect.
Nee, alles gut. Wo ist mein, where is it? Yeah, we should of course start Piggy. So you see it was just like one command and it created a tunnel.
Yes, looks good.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, feel free to scan it.
Yeah, take out your phones, scan it, and answer the questions and see if the voting page works.
Yeah, no internet. Okay, that's bad.
That's very bad. A few of you have internet, hopefully.
Otherwise, I'm going to vote.
Yeah, maybe open the vote link so that we can show that it's cool.
This one.
Yeah, if you don't have internet, we start the voting here. hopefully.
Also, our internet seems to be slow right now.
And everyone is accessing your computer.
Ah, yeah. Might be, but the load is fine actually. Was anyone able like to enter this page so far? This the vote page. Is the admin page working at least?
I also internet problems here.
Yeah, we can blame code.talks for this. No worries.
Yeah, this is no problem. But maybe we get it to load on the.
It's loaded. Yeah, it's just slow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's late loading. Yeah. So it just takes time. I mean, this is live, yeah. So
everything we tested it a few times before. It worked, but yeah, we have to think. But if it says loading, it will show the page in a short time when the internet is good and the connection to his PC is good. But if that's not, then we have a problem.
Yeah, but I'm in the. At least once we have this voting page, we can vote for you all. We just can throw numbers into the room.
But what we can, what we will do is we will show you a QR code later with the GitHub repository where we put everything in. Then you can test it at home. Then you can see that it works. This is the.
We prepared this already for you. Yeah. And what you will find there is also the rules we have used, the prompts. Also the prompts Lars has used before adding it to Cursor. So you see also our approach on how to write the whole project here. And you can just test it out. It's publicly available. And I will give it just the one last try here to load the voting page. You got a runtime error. Damn.
Yeah, next time we. Someone voted.
Someone voted.
Yeah,
Who was this? Yeah, great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So in the end, voting page works, admin page works. It does live update, and you see how long would have taken you to copy the Mentimeter functionality with the graphs that shows the average, the hills, finding the right JavaScript library to do this, finding the right code to talk to it and everything. And this was created out of a screenshot that looks like this. And this is the real power of it. It saves you a lot of time in all of this busy work that we're doing before.
So thank you very much. Here you go.
We take the 8.0. Perfect.
Feel free to scan it and open it once you have a connection again. Yeah, so you will find the prompts and the rules.
And we upload this slide here. We upload to the talk inside the code.talks app, so you can download this QR code from the code.talks app.
Yeah.
In a few days.
So thank you very much. If you have questions, feel free.
Now it's time.